Hi, everyone. Welcome to genXy. I'm Dana Dubois,
I'm Lawrence Winterman.
and it is fabulous to be here as always. This is our second time recording the show today. We already recorded like literally the most brilliant podcast that ever was.
It was
Um, it would
perfection.
it was perfection. Like it would have completely dismantled the broligarchy. It would have returned order to the world, to the US. It would have probably solved global warming. I mean, the icebergs would have come back. It was
Yeah,
that
I
good.
mean, there was that moment I came up with the Middle East peace plan that, would have fixed everything, but I can't remember what it was, and the
I
recording
know.
didn't
It
go
wasn't even
through.
scripted. It wasn't even scripted, Lawrence. It
Yeah,
was
just
just,
brilliant off the top of my head. And
man,
sorry,
it
world.
was, and sorry us, because now here we are re-recording all of it, but it's all good. We have some exciting news to share at the top of this podcast. My new favorite number is 97, Lawrence. Do you know why?
Ooh, Taylor Swift. Does it have anything to do with Taylor Swift?
It, not to my knowledge. This is not an Easter egg, but Gen XE is at 97 subscribers as of this
Woo!
recording. We have almost hit our first, but not final milestone of 100 subscribers. We are especially excited because we have three paid subscribers, which is amazing. So,
Amazing.
just
Thank
special
you.
thanks to Shannon, to Jane, and to Stuart. You have no idea how good it feels to have your support in that way. It is amazing. It is amazing
Absolutely.
to have you all here, and we would love to get to that 100 number. So, tell all your friends, tell them to sign up. It comes with a free set of Ginsu knives.
Right. It also comes with a free Frogurt.
But that's good.
The Frogurt is cursed,
That's bad.
but the Frogurt comes with free toppings.
Oh, and that's good.
The toppings contain potassium benzoate. That's bad.
That's bad. Can, can I go home now?
All right, we did it. We did it. A Simpsons reference that nobody but us will get. So
Maybe
thank you
if you
very
get it,
much.
sound off in the comments if you remember
Right,
our
right.
paraphrase Simpsons reference. I do also, in addition to the excitement of our 97, I have other exciting news,
Yes, tell the
Lawrence.
people about your upcoming thing.
I am going to be co hosting a training with Christina God.
Ooh, that's awesome. Christina God, that's the class that you took a couple weeks ago, right?
It is the online writing club. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, Christina is a fantastic marketer. She has deep experience in both Medium and Substack.
Mm,
And after taking this class with her, we were talking and kind of ruminating on the idea that it is hard to be new. And it is, right? We've talked about this.
well, yeah, I'm definitely finding it hard to be new on Substack. Well, and Medium.
Yes, it on Medium, I have been there almost 2 years. I have a community, and on Substack, it's hard to be new. Substack has so many robust tools, and without having the community that I've had on Medium, it is really, hard to figure out how to get in and get going. And so we are going to be offering a training together.
Well, I get to take the training.
Oh, yes, you are a required attendee,
Oh,
Lawrence.
excellent.
You're not actually
Excellent.
allowed to say no. But this one is I'd like to think particularly for folks like me who are coming from Medium to Substack, but it's also for people who maybe are on Substack and want to learn how to ramp up on Medium. Christina and I share the philosophy that it is not Medium or Substack, it is Medium and Substack,
Yeah. Well, that's
right?
cool. And I remember that you were
Yeah.
excited about the people that you met in her class last time. And so
Yes.
hopefully we will meet lots of new, exciting people in this class.
It would be great. Yeah, to feel like we have more of a network here at Substack because really, no matter how good you are as a writer, if you don't find your community, then you're kind of writing into a void, or it feels that way, right? So,
Yep.
would love to have you all there. The link to register for the Zoom is in the comments of the article that contains this podcast. And it will be on April 2nd at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So 2 p.m. your time,
Yep.
Lawrence, and the rest of you around the world, you can calculate back on that. One thing I will say too is Christina is just exuberant. She is inspiring as an educator and leader. Her enthusiasm is infectious. She has so much knowledge of both platforms. She's so eager to share it. So I hope you'll join us. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That is great news. Super exciting, and I will absolutely be there.
Sound off in the comments if you're planning to be there as well, so we get a heads up on that.
Right, so we can buy an appetizer tray or something.
Right, I need to know how much cheese and crackers we need. Maybe let me know if you're gluten free like I am or lactose
Right.
intolerant
I
like I
mean,
am.
all the cheese. There's no such thing as too much cheese.
Yes. Mm. Agreed. As much as it hates me, I love it. Lawrence, I want to talk about one of the two stories that you posted to genXy this week because it
Yeah.
is on a subject near and dear to my heart, which is directly it's trans rights. As someone who's running a publication about parenting trans and non-binary kids, obviously that's there.
Yeah.
But more deeply, it's just on the idea of what happens to the most marginalized of us impacts all of us, right?
Yeah.
Can you share about your story?
Yeah. It was inspired because this past week I got a poll, an online poll through my phone, and I figured I'd answer it to see kind of what they were talking about. And I thought it was maybe a push poll for the Democrats, maybe it's a push poll for the Republicans. A push poll is when they're kind of giving you pieces of information to try to change your mind and then keep re-asking you,
Yeah.
does this make you support this more or less? And it was about trans issues. And the way that they were wording things was just so bad. It was like, do you think it's right that trans people can use private health care or federally funded? It was just, no. Like, no, it was the wrong frame for everything.
Right.
Like, we just can't leave anybody behind.
Right. Yeah, equivocating is not where we need to be right now.
It reminded me of this thing that I learned actually with Dieter Murphy, who you've heard me talk about before. He was really supportive of Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, when he
Mm.
ran for president in 1984 and 1988. And Jesse Jackson talked about the Rainbow Coalition, the
Right.
idea that, it was the gay community, the lesbian community, the, farmers and machinists, and the black community, the Latino community, everybody, Native Americans, Asian folks, just all the people basically working together in coalition. And it upsets me that, we're even having conversations about leaving people behind.
That so resonated with me. It's like I commented on your story on Substack. First, they came for the trans folks, dot, dot, dot. Like, we all know that poem and we know where it ends. And we don't want to be reciting that poem again.
This is a history rhymes moment, in the 20s and 30s, Jews worldwide were, persecuted and disliked, and nobody wanted them in their country. And this time they're coming for our most marginalized community in the United States, which is trans folks. It doesn't mean that they're not going to come for you and me next.
It certainly doesn't. And what I really loved was when you posted about this on Facebook, and hold on, interstitial comment, because this is how I roll. This is all within parentheses or M dashes right now. Lawrence took down his Facebook and Instagram after the election because fuck Mark Zuckerberg. And
Fuck Zuckerberg.
but didn't actually kill the accounts. And so when we launched genXy, he came back. Hey, I'm here again to be able to post about this publication. And when he
Yes,
did
I
that,
believe I said if Mark Zuckerberg can commodify people for money, then so can I.
well said. And he does this, and suddenly, like, flies to the light.
Yeah.
Lawrence is just inundated with friend requests from all of these very thirsty bear men, right?
I mean, which, cool, I guess, but that's not why I'm on Facebook. There are
Right.
other apps for that.
So, anyhow, did you say what you have like 1,000 new followers or something? Like
Yeah,
flocks,
I've got about 1,000 new followers on
and
Facebook, and
and they're
they're
all gay
they're all
men.
gay dudes. Yeah,
Yeah. So Lawrence posts about this story, and then he posts again. You posted again really quickly because nobody hardly commented on your first story. I'm gonna end my parenthetical here. Actually, it ended maybe
Yeah.
a clause ago. You take the lead here. What happened when you? How did you feel when you posted the story to these flocks of new gay male friends, and it was almost crickets?
Well, you've just told the whole story, haven't you? You haven't left anything for me.
How did you feel though?
I was sad. Yeah, so I posted the story on Facebook, and I not immediately. It was a day, basically a half a day, something like that. I came back and I thought, I have this audience maybe, and other people I hope feel like me. I hope other men in the gay community feel like we can't abandon our trans siblings. That we are all stronger together, and like three people had replied in total, and I, don't know everybody's sexuality, but I was disappointed, to say the least, that there weren't more people kind of fist pumping and saying, yeah, I really shouldn't have said fist pumping there.
No, probably not. But carry on.
Yeah. Anyway, I was sad that there weren't more people who were kind of jumping in and commenting enthusiastically, and so I kind of read people for filth a little bit, and I said, it's disgusting that there are 1,000 gay dudes who are following me who, have potentially seen this post and nobody comments. I think one of the things that I have identified that is maybe a weakness to be worked upon in the gay community is this sense that, when gay men are feeling comfortable and have enough and, have achieved marriage equality, that there's not really any reaching back to help others who might still be struggling. It's like they pull the ladder up after them.
Yeah. 100% Lawrence. And in talking about this, it's reminding me of something I heard during the election cycle when folks were saying how the Latino vote was breaking heavily in the wrong direction. I don't like to say his name. And I was like, well, how can that be? He said the most horrific things about that community. And what I was told as an outsider was the community is not just one singular community, that folks who are from different places or who arrived at different times identify very differently than others. And it seemed like there was a sense of like, I got here the right way, or I got here and I'm safe. And you all aren't. And that lifeboat phenomenon of like, there are only so many in the lifeboat. And if I try to pull you up, it's going to sink us all. Do you feel like there's an element of that in the LGBTQ, or specifically in the gay population, that you were when you were speaking of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think most of the people who are following me on Facebook are probably of my generation. They're probably Gen X and, may feel like, oh, hey, like we struggled when we were young and now we have marriage, we have lives, we've built lives, we're retiring or getting ready to retire, and like it's okay to tune out maybe and not
Right.
not want to stand up. And I just think that's kind of reprehensible. The only way that we're going to get through this time in American history is by all of us standing up together. And I just think it's kind of gross that people would look at our trans siblings and think that that is a community that, you know, we don't have to worry about, that they just kind of pry the T off of the end of the LGBT and give up on that community. So it,
Right.
it makes me mad.
Right. It's such a false illusion of safety to think that anyone is safe, right? First they came for the trans people, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not this time.
Yes, they're coming. And yeah, it's to think that gay people are safe, to think that Jewish people like us are safe, to think that women are safe is, I think,
Right.
a false sense of
Yeah.
security.
Black
But
people, Latino people, nobody is safe. This
right,
is absolutely fascism on the march, and
absolutely
all of
is.
us need to link arms and oppose it together.
Right. Okay. Well, Lawrence, in spite of the frustrations with your thirsty bears, I think I think each week has kind of a flavor, and it either veers hopey or it veers doomy. And I'm feeling like I can't believe I'm saying this.
Doom.
Doom.
Oh
Hope.
no. Oh. Oh, were you gonna say hope? Okay. No,
Hope.
I
Yeah.
want to hear your
Yeah.
thing.
I'm feeling a slight sense of hope. There's three things that, well, there were more than three. I just in general seeing some hopeful news. But the first one that gave me hope is the story about Elon Musk's daughter, Vivian, who is trans. And I can't fathom the weight that this very young woman, I think she's 20, is carrying, not only having to come out and be trans herself and knowing her father vehemently disapproves, but also knowing that because of that disapproval, that's why a lot of this is happening, right? Like she is has to know that she's carrying that weight. But this week she is on the cover of Teen Vogue, and I've seen her all over Instagram doing these silly lip syncs and dances and just looking fabulous and gorgeous. And she said something really funny, like I'm paraphrasing her, but I want to beat Kendall Jenner as the top nepo baby model. And I just have such a
Goals.
what yeah, goals to be
Goals,
we
people.
we should all be as brash and in the camera and unabashed as Vivian is. That was my first kind of small moment of like, yes, hope. The much bigger story this week, though, Lawrence, we all know what this is,
Yeah,
right?
it's absolutely AOC and Bernie and Tim Walz getting out there and actually going to red districts or to places where the battle is often contested. So 34,000 people in Denver, 23,000 people in
Amazing.
Tucson, Arizona, 11,000 people in Tempe,
So good.
Arizona. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And, we need leadership. I think one of the things that this shows us is Americans are dying for somebody to stand up and just call a spade and
Yes.
actually point us in a direction.
Yes. We want fighters. Like, we're desperately in need of fighters. So it's been so heartening to
That's
see.
true.
Yeah, Carolyn Beckia, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. You're one of my favorite writers. Wrote this week that there have been over 12,000 protests all, dispersed around the country. And
Oh,
it's
hey,
so heartening.
that
Oh,
reminds
yeah.
me
Oh,
that website, protest.photos, I don't know who's doing this.
yes.
The
Yes.
website actually launched and they've already got a couple hundred photos, I think, up there. And it's absolutely amazing to see people across the country out and protesting and a place where
Yes.
everyone can see it, where the media isn't going to censor it away from us.
Oh my God, I love it. And that's just protest.photos.
It is.
Okay. Love that. The third thing that is making me feel
Ooh, which
hopey,
is a good segue because a lot of these protest photos are at,
Tesla dealerships.
that's right.
I love that we are hitting the broligarchy in their wallet, or at least the main broligarch in his wallet. And glue, Lawrence, glue. Like the
I
person
mean,
who is pulling apart the nuts and bolts of our country used glue to try to put the
when it
panel.
glued the trucks together. Did you have to recall every single Cybertruck on the road? How sad for you.
I know. I know. And I realized in thinking about the story, Lawrence, that I wrote a story. Remember we went to go see the magnetic fields last year in
Yeah.
San Francisco? It was awesome. That was late April. And I ended up with a whole day to myself on the final Sunday because you flew out first thing in the morning and I flew out late at night. And I spent that day wandering San Francisco, and it ended up being this meandering, beautiful story about how sometimes you need to just have nothing planned to find magic in a day and to get that creative spark back because I had been feeling like it had dimmed a bit. But in the course of writing the story and meandering all, I encountered my first Cybertruck. And I had no idea what it was. I'd never
Mm.
heard of them. I don't follow cars. And I talked,
You wept with the sheer
yeah,
beauty.
I did not. I just posted the story to me to Substack. It was on Medium. It never really found its audience on Medium, but I feel like Gen Xers on Substack are going to get this one because the unifying thread that ties the narrative arc together is hearing Tom's Diner in a cafe in a diner toward the end and realizing that just as in that song, she's sort of documenting the mundane happenings all around her, but really it's all about that last line. I am thinking of your voice, right? She's just taking it all in, but really she's sitting with how she's feeling about whoever the person is who has this voice. For me, it was describing all of the mundane, but it's really about a creative reawakening. But right there in the middle of that story, I'm like, that is the stupidest fucking looking vehicle I've ever seen in my life. Of course it's a Tesla. How does this happen? It was only 10 months ago, Lawrence. Like, so much has changed in
Yeah.
10
Well, I
months.
mean,
But my sentiment,
that song,
yeah,
when you think about it, really is about late stage capitalism and rising fascism in the world. That was Suzanne
you think
Vega's whole
so?
thing.
Are you making, no, okay, you're
No,
playing
of
with me.
course not.
Lawrence, there are connections. I'm weaving my narrative arc together. And don't you dare call it his weave. It is not his weave. It is my creative process, and I will not have you. Lawrence
Uh
has
huh.
teased me about this before, maybe on the first recording of this podcast. That was brilliant and would have solved all the world's
Yeah.
problems. But at any rate, I am thrilled to see that the stocks are plummeting, the things are flying off, the cars are getting recalled. And, I'm no economist, but from what I understand, he has leveraged the value of the Tesla stock to acquire and run Twitter. And if one falls, the house of cards tumble, and I would have a big sad. I would not be sad. I would not be
Right.
sad.
Wouldn't that just be lovely? A good piece of real Greek tragedy where hubris leads to a giant
Yes,
fall.
you did a very nice yourself about how hubris is destroying our democracy. We'll link that in the
Yeah.
comments too.
Well, I'm doing the
I,
weave where I bring the things back
he
together at
already
the end.
ruined the verb trump, which was a really good verb, right? Like you're throwing down your
Well, I mean, it was a
right. It
fine
was,
verb,
and so
but
now I don't. I guess he's taken weave too, a noun and a verb. Fucker, Jesus Christ. Anyhow, those are the things that are giving me hope. And before we go, Lawrence, I did want to read one other really cool thing. I need to open my phone to read it, which
oh,
is we got feedback from
hmm,
a listener, and specifically you did. I'm going to read it. This is from someone I know. Hi, Kim. And she wrote and said, "By the way, I'm listening to your podcast with Lawrence and I love it!" Exclamation point. And Lawrence has the best voice. Oh my
hmm.
God, I could literally listen to him all
Hello,
day.
Kim.
Do,
Hmm.
do your best ASMR, Lawrence.
I don't know how to do
You're
ASMR.
a natural.
Isn't it just whispering and scratching your nails on things?
Yes, but you have to sound more relaxing than that, Lawrence. So just think about hypnosis and meditation. And now try.
Is this relaxed? Are you relaxed now?
Okay, fine. Kim, we
Hello.
still really appreciate you listening, and his voice is
We love you, Kim.
beautiful.
Thank you for that very nice
Yes, we
feedback.
love you all. 97 subscribers. Let's get to 100
Yes, yes.
and
If
beyond.
100 and beyond,
Mark your
absolutely.
calendar. April 2nd. Check for the link in the story that this podcast is associated with. Find all the links because all the stories we're talking
Yeah.
about will be in here. And is this all?
I'm betting if I know
Yeah.
you, you've got some cat vomit somewhere that you have to go
I
clean up.
do, but you know what else I have, Lawrence? While we were talking, I just got groceries delivered.
A heart full
For
of love.
I do have a heart full of love for all of you, but I also have about 8 bags of groceries sitting right there, full of perishable things to put away before my child returns in approximately 7 minutes. Well, actually,
Ooh,
it's not dependent on it. We have to be done before she returns, but it would be nice to get the groceries away too. It's always something.
always
Also,
something.
the cat
Yes.
vomited on my green velvet sofa. I hate her. I mean, I love her, but I hate her. Yeah.
Wow, and on that note of severe internal conflict, we would like to say goodbye to everybody. Dana's therapy appointment is next.
I wish. I wish, Lawrence. You are my therapy appointment. Oh, oh.
Oh,
Let's
so
cross
sweet.
all your
All right,
fingers. This
well, until
recorded.
next
Look at
week.
me. I've got everything crossed.
Woohoo! Please record.
Lo-
Please.
Love you, mean it.
Please.
Bye.
Love you, mean it. Bye.